Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this video. I thought it's time that I tell you a little story about Bitcoin. Namely, as you know, I was always focused on foreign exchange, but in 2013 a friend of mine approached me and he said, look, there's this new cryptocurrency coming up, and he explained it to me, and you know what, I looked at it and I came to the conclusion, no, that's, how can it be that something like this will ever become big? So you have to understand, that's sometimes in life there's dangerous knowledge, because I studied economics and finance and had professional experience. So I knew that the state has a monopoly on money. I knew that there are certain things which would never be allowed to happen, such as a currency going or completely surpassing the financial system. And there you go. So it was not that I was completely ignorant. I really looked at it, but I came to the wrong conclusions. So firstly, I thought, okay, this will never be allowed to be big, because of all the laws we have, the financial regulation, which was increasing already significantly at that time. And secondly, I thought, well, even if this cryptocurrency will establish itself, it's just a matter of time when the elites take over this kind of market, basically the same elites which control foreign exchange, which I've shown you so many times. So and many people thought that, so they thought, well, even if it works and even if it can be used at some point, quickly the current elites will completely dominate that market. So these were definitely wrong conclusions and led to a massive financial miss. But it's fantastic to see, that Bitcoin is coming up. That recently, Tesla even bought Bitcoin with Elon Musk. That's amazing. It's right down my street, to work on alternative financial systems, because there are too many problems with the current financial system, and I should elaborate on that in another video. But to just mention a few, the whole central bank system does not really make sense the more you think about it. Then what happened in my case in 2017, I finally was able to buy a bit, and I got completely scammed. That was because I used something called a Vervox. You could buy Bitcoin via PayPal, and that company completely scammed everyone and basically took all the money, believe it or not. So another thing which shouldn't happen in theory. Then at some point I finally could buy a bit. Now I have friends, who made a killing on Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. I have other friends who lost a lot and who traded in the wrong moments. I would say, so looking at Bitcoin today, 2021, it's trading around $56,000. I believe, to make a long story short, that Bitcoin is there to stay. I estimate that the risk that it completely disappears is below 5%. Now I'm not sure to which price levels it can go. It seems, reasonable that it can go to 100,000 one day. In what time frame, very difficult to say, whether this takes years or not. But some people suggested that you should have at least 1% of your net worth in Bitcoin. Some people say a bit more, especially if you're younger. And I would definitely agree with that. I do not recommend anyone to try to trade Bitcoin actively. Stay away from this. This seems way too risky. And look, there's not much data neither. You can't really program a bot and expect that it works consistently. Look at Forex, where you have a lot of data. Test there, and you know what I mean. So I'm only talking about hodling here, and especially now with Elon Musk and Tesla pushing Bitcoin, now even accepting Bitcoin as a means for payment if you want to buy a Tesla car. I think Bitcoin is there to stay. The blockchain technology has also proven itself to actually work in general. So that's very, very exciting. I'm very excited about that. I think it's fascinating to see what's going on, that actually the financial system will need to change in several ways in our lifetime, something many people would only have dreamed of a few years ago. Yeah, so what will happen in the future? Will elites at some point take over, you know, and uh, use price manipulation the same way they do it in Forex, let's say. Well, so far this did not really happen, and so far, you know, it seems that, you know, the decentralized blockchain technology has prevented any entities to take over complete price control like it is in Forex. Remember that in Forex the market structure is very different. Yeah, we have smart money entities who work together in the form of a cartel, having complete price control. Yeah, doing stop hunts all day, position runs, and that's what my work obviously is about. So to date, I cannot see the same dynamic in the cryptocurrencies. Talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum, so only the major ones. And obviously, in the future, one needs to see, you know, whether the market structure changes in any way. Obviously, the second thing is we have a new group of elites engaging in those kind of markets. Is, for example, technology billionaires. You know, people who have, you know, successfully started and run startup firms in the technology space. So that seems to be a different group of investors and company founders than, you know, we had, like, let's say 10, 20, 30 years ago. And that's of course natural with our society becoming more and more technological and those sectors, you know, growing a lot, and internet-based business increasing. We of course have a different group of elites also engaging in those kinds of markets. And to summarize, to date we cannot see the same kind of price manipulation as we can see in foreign exchange. Of course, foreign exchange is by far the much bigger market, and cryptos are nowhere near that, needless to say. But of course, in the future things can change, so it's a good idea to keep an eye on this. But yeah, to make a long story short, despite my own mistakes some years ago, yeah, I love to, you know, I love what's going on right now. I love to see that actually, you know, alternative currencies are coming up, that the old financial system needs to be reformed whether it wants it or not. And it's very exciting, and to see that even in our own lifetime is even better. So fantastic. And from an investing perspective, be careful. These kind of markets are of course highly speculative, very risky. We don't have much data neither, but if you want to, you know, just risk a little bit of your overall net worth and hodl it, yeah, so buy and hold, and not trade it actively, and have a time frame of several years, you know, who knows, if really Bitcoin continues the current move and goes up and up and up like it did in the last few years, then, you know, it seems that everything is possible, especially if it's suddenly used by a means of payment by big firms like Tesla. So that's really a new level now. So yeah, in terms of price, a lot is possible. And you can imagine that if in a scenario where, let's say, Bitcoin goes to 300, 400, 500,000 in, let's say, 5 years or so, if that would happen, and there's no guarantee that it will, but if it would happen, you can imagine that people will cash in on those kinds of investments they made today or before. This could actually create additional inflation to the old financial system, because if people cash in and pump back into the fiat currencies, you know, we will have a shift of wealth. We'll have like inflation effects of that as well. So it's almost as if you are forced to consider crypto in some way in your portfolio. It doesn't seem to be a good idea to just completely ignore it. Okay, anyways, let's see what happens. I'm very excited to observe these new markets, and there you go, you know, if you study the financial system, if you have a degree in economics and finance, if you were a professional in finance, you know, try to think outside of the box, you know, try to have imagination. Don't assume that the rules which are there, you know, just will prevent innovation, you know, because if that would be the case, that would be sad as well. Anyways, so on this channel I would like to expand a bit and also talk about other financial markets, not only Forex, but Forex will of course always be the focus. And still to this day. I show like the market manipulation unfolding. I show live trades. I show like how the smart money pushes prices around against the dumb money. I will continue to do that. And of course, this is the big one. Forex is by far the biggest market, even bigger than all stocks combined in terms of trading volume. So that means that when it comes to whole countries and big companies and the activities, changing currencies, etc., the effect of that kind of cartelism is definitely there and will continue to be there. Maybe in the long term things will change, who knows? Maybe in 30, 40, 50 years the market structure will change. We never know. So but for the time being, if you try to trade or anything, understand the market causality, use this channel to understand what's going on in Forex and what you have to do in order to have a chance. Stay safe.